What was it? Was it Friends that had a term for that? When two men sleep with the same woman, they become cousins.
It's not Eskimo Brothers, is it?
Is that what it is?
Because I've heard of that before.
It sounds familiar.
Eskimo twin. What is it? Hang on.
Was it Friends?
It might be. Eskimo Brothers refers to two men who have been intimate with the same female and remain on good terms. So
Paul Mazursky and Antonio Banderas at the end of this movie. I mean, making out like they're...
It's like, here's some cash, bro. I don't know. I don't know.
So I went through this thing like it was several years ago. I'm not going to use any names. You know the names. It doesn't matter what the names are because people listen to this podcast.
Okay.
But it was in the middle of like a thing where I'm like dating a woman and she's also dating another man, and apparently she's chosen this other man now, and
clearly,
but we're all there because we're all been, because I'm not a terrible person. I can be friends with somebody even if they say like we don't want to be together romantically. But like the guy, as I'm like leaving after having helped her move something, he gives me a leather jacket.
Are you in his gang now?
I guess this was like his trade-off to me. Like, I got the girl. Why don't you take my leather jacket?
That's fucking weird. That's
it didn't help though. Like he's like 6'5" too. It's like, how am I going to wear? What am I supposed to go to a tailor? Like
well, we were talking about Eskimo Brothers. You don't want to be Leather Brothers. It's completely different.
Did I miss the signal? Maybe was I being invited back into the relationship?
I think you don't know how to read.
I didn't read the signal.
No.
Damn.
So,
we could have been. I could have been in a throuple.
I'm sorry.
That's what the leather jacket meant. Oh, fuck me.
My God, you've never gotten a leather jacket. I feel like that's just something we all go through. No, sorry, no one's ever offered me a leather jacket.
Oh, well, that's a guy thing.
Oh, it's a guy thing?
It's leather's for men.
I did get to wear Terry Hosse's necklace in 6th grade when my friend Anne was going out with him. Anne is still one of my best friends to this day, but she was dating Terry Hosse, who I still had a crush on from 4th grade, of course. And she said, you know what? For 1 week, he's also going to be your boyfriend. And she gave me his necklace to wear. No one asked Terry. I just took it for granted that she said it was okay. And I looked at him and I said, hey, guess we're going out again. I know you're not exactly excited about this. It was so weird looking back on that. Like, how was that? I was 12. I shouldn't have been able to do that.
But the fact that Anne had that kind of empathy at 12, I mean, come on. That's impressive.
She did try to hand Jamie off to me at one point, too. Her husband, she's like, here. No, she didn't. That didn't happen.
Yeah, that gets weird when you're not 12.
It's not as cute.
Yeah.
But it's also pathetic.
Want to pretend to be married to my husband for a week? Maybe that'll make you feel better.
Well, you know what? My friend Jeanette let me do that. To make some guy jealous. She's like, here, take a picture of my husband. We'll post it on Instagram for you.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it's like...
is that to get rid of your stalker?
Yeah. Like, it's all so pathetic, though. It's like, welcome to my life. And people wonder why I just don't shut up all the time. It's because I constantly have something sad to tell you.
Well, I mean, tell Jeanette you've got Photoshop. You can take care of this yourself.
But I can't. I don't know how to use Photoshop. That's why I've asked other people to put Paul Rudd in pictures with kittens for me.
Your stalker wasn't going to buy Paul Rudd.
No. He sure wasn't going to let me buy Paul Rudd, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, so sorry.
Relationships, am I right?
Women.
Women.
Am I right?
Always with the sex. Or lack of sex.
And the constant ruminating on lack or too much sex.
Everything everyone else does is a referendum on what I do.
I gotta say, the 90s were really weird
So weird.
when it came to
we
relationships.
were there.
We were there for it.
But we were too young.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were in that weird transition period, you know, like, because we become adults in the 90s, but like, you know, we're still like not really in your 20s until the 2000s. So
I mean,
it's like,
we may have gone to a hick high school, but neither one of us were really looking to get married right out of high school.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, because anyone who ever did that is divorced now. Congratulations.
They really are. Good for you.
Follow your heart. Do you, man.
Yeah.
If you want to get married at 18, if that is something you absolutely feel, fucking do you, man. Don't let anybody stand in your way. But just remember, that's the long fucking time to be with just one person.
Just one person. And also, they will, you know, there's going to be cheating. Regardless, there's going to be cheating.
That's why marriage is the dumbest thing they've ever come up with as a concept.
It's a social construct that belongs nowhere.
It is just so useless. All it does is hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
Everybody is just miserable after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand there are marriages that can work. You know, if you're willing to be vulnerable and completely honest with another person and talk about your problems, you can make a relationship work. I very well believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many people who are just like, they want to cut corners and just, you know, if I keep this from them, then I don't have to do this. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, how do you live your life like this?
All of it.
I realize I'm a single man, and it's been a little while that I've been single, but like, I just don't need to inflict that upon myself or someone else at this moment because I'm just not there. I'm not in that right now. This movie we watched, which we'll get to in a moment, is just, these people are just so obsessed with sex. I mean, it's just everything is about fucking. They've got to fuck. And we haven't fucked it. We're almost down to one time a week. Oh my God. What will happen to me? Is this what people do? Is this what normal people do? Do I just, have I not got a sex drive? I'm pretty sure I have a sex drive. But like, I don't constantly need to be fucking something. That is just not a thing I have.
No.
I enjoy it. It's great, but I don't need to do that all the time. Like, and I realize this is a microcosm in a movie, and movies amp up this kind of thing. But it also, like, it feels like that reflects the culture in a way, like, or it tells people this is how you should feel. And then we're in some sort of chicken and the egg thing where people are seeing on TV, oh, well, everybody's just kind of always obsessed with sex. I'm obsessed with sex too, right?
Right?
It's like this weird self-fulfilling prophecy, like the culture feeding back to the people to tell them how obsessed with sex they should be.
No, I think that because the creators of this film were so obsessed with Woody Allen, and that's what Woody Allen always talked about. I think that's it. Can we just tell them what we watched?
I was wondering. I wanted to see how long we could go.
We're like an hour into the podcast. We haven't even said we haven't even like introduced ourselves.
Oh yeah. Well, welcome to the I Hate Critics 1995
That's
podcast.
So not us, guys.
We always find something weird to go in, and I was kind of waiting for the punchline to arrive, and then it's like, no, this is kind of interesting. Let's follow this. Let's go this way.
Yeah.
Miami Rhapsody is a movie from 1995, released on January 27th, 1995.
Mm-hmm.
So we're almost on the exact, as we record this, almost on the exact date. It's 26th.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And it stars Sarah Jessica Parker. It's directed, written, and produced by David Frankel, who will go on 9 years after this to direct The Devil Wears Prada. I don't know what the hell happened to him for 9 years.
God.
He just sort of after this, I guess he just couldn't take the failure of this. This movie made $5 million against an $11 million budget.
Right.
So it didn't great.
And Gleiberman would tell you different and say it's fantastic.
So would Roger Ebert, 3 stars.
Yeah, I don't get
from
it.
Roger Ebert. Because they lived these lives, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
No, absolutely. Roger Ebert didn't live this
Roger
life.
was very horny. He's a very horny man. Read any of his reviews. I love Roger, and he could control it like a great writer. But he was a very horny guy. He loved Russ Meyer. I mean, he
did
loved
run,
Gross
yeah,
Monkey.
that's true. I'll give you that one. Jeez.
And he was a single man most of his life, but when he got married later in life to Chaz, that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, total complete love,
Yeah, that's true.
as far as I know.
That's
I mean,
true.
they never betrayed any kind of issue.
No.
Like I said, marriage is possible. Maybe that's when marriage is possible, when you're like, you're in your late 50s and like you've done everything you wanted to do at that point. Now I can give myself to a partner and, have an honest, open relationship.
Okay, I'm like, 2 years away from 50, and all I keep thinking is, God, no. Well, and, maybe, but again, it's like, we said this as we're watching this movie, and if you watch it too, it's so cynical. There's so much cynicism in it, but that is so us too. Like, I don't trust anyone, and I don't believe in love at all now. Like, well, as you can hear from my voice, I'm massively depressed. So I don't like anything.
I believe in love.
Well, good for you.
I believe in it fully. I believe that I have had and will have again.
God,
I'm a romantic.
there's just so much.
I'm an optimist.
Well, why?
Because
You've been watching the same movies I've been watching this year, right?
Yes. Last week we watched an incredible love story that is one of the greatest love stories ever
Oh my
told.
God, ever told.
So yeah, I kind of feel good about love, even after this piece of shit.
That's true. I mean,
It's not a piece of shit, and I don't want
yeah, that's weird. Like,
to.
okay, it's not like it's not terrible. It's just we have Woody Allen at home, and I know we use that all the time on here, but it's true. Like, it is. So
It's Woody
true.
Allening all over the place.
Oh my God. we thought it was Kevin Pollocking all over the place.
Oh,
Because of course he's in this.
he's in
movie.
this. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But Sarah Jessica Parker is the star. She's engaged to, or going to be engaged to Gil Bellows within moments of the movie getting started. But her foundational ideas about relationships are rocked when she finds out that her parents are cheating on each other. Her mom is sleeping with Antonio Banderas, who's the nurse to her grandmother in a nursing home. Paul Mazursky is her dad. He's cheating with Mrs. Gilmore, Kelly Bishop. Then her older brother Kevin Pollak is cheating on his wife with Naomi Campbell. No, not even that. Nope. Sorry, movie. No, not buying it. Not buying it.
No.
Seeing Naomi Campbell and Kevin Pollak in the same room is something I had a hard time accepting. But the idea that they'd ever made love is just completely off the table.
Well, first of all, you cast Naomi Campbell as an actor in this film. There's your first strike.
She cannot act.
She cannot act. And
Whew.
I've said again, like she was in Absolutely Fabulous. She did a couple of appearances there, and she was terrible.
Beautiful woman, incredibly intelligent,
Yeah.
and business minded.
Yep.
I mean, she's accomplished a great deal.
Cannot
She's just
act.
not an actor.
She's not an actor, and that we
That's all.
don't.
And there's nothing wrong with that. She shouldn't be perfect.
And she again, Kevin Pollak is like, especially in the 80s and 90s, he's like the guy that I would date. Okay, Naomi Campbell's not going to date him at all.
Kevin Pollak gets to be the schlubby guy who gets married to the far more attractive woman on a TV show, but not Naomi Campbell.
Not Naomi Campbell.
Naomi
No,
Campbell.
it has
She
to
is
be
from another
accessible
planet.
beauty.
Yeah. Naomi Campbell is an alien from another planet. There are average human beings, and then there's Naomi Campbell.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
And only George Michael got to go to that planet once in a while. That's it. That's it. And he did not appreciate it at all.
No,
Not the way I would.
not the way anyone would. Certainly not, sir. God bless. But a lot of this movie is. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, Jeremy Piven and Carla Gugino. I don't see that either.
What about Bo Eason?
Who the fuck is Bo Eason?
Who was the man she married in the Hickory Dickory Dock marriage vows, or
Was
whatever
he-
the heck that was?
Oh, that was Richard Scarry.
I was pretty sure that was Dr. Seuss.
Was it Dr. Seuss?
I think it's Dr. Seuss. I won't marry you in a car. I won't marry you. I won't eat green eggs and ham.
Oh my God.
Weird. This is our introduction to these people. We have
Yeah.
no idea who they are in relation to the other characters in the movie yet.
And everybody's like, that's so funny.
And everybody's cracking up, and they're like, they're made Ben Stein read their vows as fucking, we won't, I would marry you on a beach. I would marry you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, okay. And then Ben Stein,
Yeah.
just mistake after mistake. But like this whole movie is like an inside joke that they don't want to share with us. I mean, there's an entire scene where Antonio Banderas is speaking Spanish to his mother, and we don't know what's going on. And then it leads into another scene where like, well, how did we get here? What did he say to his mom? And I've taken Spanish on Duolingo. I can only recognize a few words because it went
Yeah.
really fast. So like all I did was something about a road.
There was no subtitle for
No.
that. Which I'm taking is not as I need yes, I need the subtitle because I don't speak Spanish. I probably should. I know other people in other countries have many other languages that they speak. It's not. I don't take pride in not knowing as my main thing here, but I don't know. And so apparently this was not information that we needed because the movie decided not to give it subtitles.
Yeah.
Now, we can read the context clue, and the context clue is that his mom is giving him a hard time for not dating someone.
Mm-hmm.
So he asks Sarah Jessica Parker to pretend to be his date so that he can satisfy whatever it is that his mom had been complaining about.
Well, I guess that makes sense context-wise.
Contextually, I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but then they went on an actual date and did actual date things.
Okay.
All while she's still engaged to Gil Bellows.
Right.
But I mean, again, if you want to go out with a male friend, go out with a male friend. That's one of the dumbest fucking things that this society has ever put forward is the idea that a man and a woman cannot be friends. That is a stupid, stupid stereotype. It is for deeply insecure human beings who don't know how to relate to other human beings.
That is so true. That is so, well, I mean, look at me and my friend Nate. We've been friends for fucking ages, and we lost kind of contact for a while. Now we talk almost every Saturday like we're two old ladies, you know? And I love it. Back in the day, I was madly in love with him. Madly. Oh my God, I would cry over him in my bedroom. Oh my God. And now it's like we're both adults, so it's like, it's so cool. Yes, men and women can be friends. And you know what? Mostly should be in, you know, just in the grand scheme of things. But
My closest friend in the world is a married woman.
yeah, exactly.
Very simple, and that's fine.
I think that's totally fine. But going back to Gil Bellows, just criminal what is happening to him in this movie. Like this poor guy, has to listen to her just navel gaze through the entire fucking movie for one.
Imagine having to sit through all of Sex and the City at once.
Every one of
They're all
Carrie's
happening.
opening closings, it's all happening at once, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And the thing is, she's so good. Like, she's so natural. I love her delivery on a lot of things. The reason why this movie is funny is because of her. She says some very funny things in this. I like her. But my God, when the movie ended, it's just like I felt like I was around one of those people that is just like an energy vampire, just sucking the life out of me because they won't fucking shut up.
Yeah. The movie is framed with her being at a psychiatrist's office. I hope that's who she's talking to.
Yeah, we didn't really know.
We got
She
to the
could have been
end.
at the grocery store for all we knew.
She got to the end, and I thought we're going to get like the camera's going to turn around, and she's been talking to like some stranger in a clothing store for 3 hours, and this poor person is just miserable.
Please leave.
And that's the joke. Like,
I'll just take this pair of khakis. I'm good.
which, by the way, the one thing this movie does very well is let you know what's going to happen because it's telegraphing just everything a mile away. I kept doing this thing throughout the movie. We're like, oh, we're close. Okay, so this is what's happening next. And then it would happen.
Right.
Because it's not good, you guys. It's not a good movie.
It's not.
The opening scene, can we circle back? May we?
You're going to.
So the first scene is like him, like after she's introduced the whole thing from her psychiatrist.
Right.
It's like her and Gil Bellows getting engaged. He gives her, instead of a diamond ring, he gives her a napkin ring.
Oh,
which is adorable, I guess. And then he
I guess.
shoves her off a dock.
Hey, he smacks her first.
Yeah. Smacks a mosquito on her face.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then she says, and then he just shoves her right off the dock.
But this entire beach date that they have leading up to the mosquito smack on her face, like not saying, oh, hey, gently.
You got
just
this
gently.
mosquito? Yeah.
No, he just like full on
Smack.
hand right across the face.
I mean, I get it. I wanted to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a mosquito on your face, I get it, and you don't want to get stung in the face. It's not good, but at the same time, it was weird. It was a weird choice.
She just wouldn't shut up. That's why I wanted to smack her. Shut up.
But this entire conversation that they're having on the beach is ADR, because apparently they couldn't get good sound on the beach, which I understand. That's a challenge in filmmaking. You've got to be able to get good sound. And when you're filming next to a beach, a public beach at night, I'm sure it was a nearly impossible challenge at that time.
Right.
But the ADR is so bad.
So bad.
Like they're making up so much of this movie in ADR.
Yeah.
And apparently just nobody in the 90s could notice this. Like, was it just not crisp enough back then in terms of the cinematography? Or if you watch this on a big screen, maybe it doesn't look as bad, but like now updated to this day and age, all you can see is no one's mouth moving.
It's weird.
But words are coming out.
Well, like, and now, like, I could see where we wouldn't notice that now because we've got the third screen or whatever that is. We're always looking at our phones or looking at something else. So you wouldn't notice how much ADR was in there. Back then, we literally had nothing. It was air and then movies. So, like, I mean, you would think that we would have paid more attention to that.
But then also the movie's doing this thing where, like, a voiceover will then become the dialogue of the scene that's happening.
Yeah.
And it's kind of clumsy in that way, even though the movie thinks it's really fucking clever.
Right.
Because it does it more than once, where the narration suddenly becomes a moving conversation in the next scene. And it's like, wait, what? Hold on. I get it. Take chances, man. And again, skillfully, it's not all bad. Sometimes that can work, but there's a couple times in here where it's just very jarring.
Very jarring.
That beach scene is it's almost embarrassing how much of the movie they seem to be inventing over two people talking and their mouths aren't moving.
Yeah.
But was that scene happening on the dock or was that scene happening at the beach? Were they remembering the beach date at the dock?
Yeah.
I would think maybe. That would explain why nobody's mouth is moving, but they're making it appear like the conversation is supposed to be happening on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just clumsy.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it. No, a lot of that too. Again, we have to mention just how reliant this film is on its source material, which is Woody Allen films.
Right.
So, and I don't know if you know this, and hopefully Russell isn't listening, but there's a lot of ADR issues in Woody Allen movies. I don't know if that's some of the things that stood out for me. There's a whole scene where I remember Judy Davis was like having a freak out and her mouth wasn't moving at all. It's like, wait, she doesn't even look angry. So, I mean, if they're going to rip off Woody Allen, go ahead and rip off the ADR shit too, I guess, right? I don't know.
Just do it better.
Just do it. Do it better.
Do it better than that.
You can do it better. Because
that was clumsy and and just confusing and confounding. Like you're missing pieces of dialogue because you're like, who are they? Are they supposed to be talking? Are they
friends? Do they like each other? Are they in the same scene?
I don't know.
Is the scene in the room with us right now? I don't even know if that's how you use that. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah.
So she goes. So she says yes. She's going to marry Gil Bellows, and her mom Mia Farrow has been on her back about getting married. She even says, and this is just so toxic. By the way, this is toxic behavior because she's like, "Well, your sister beat you to the altar."
Wow,
you missed that?
I did miss that.
Yeah. Your little sister beat you to the altar.
You know that.
Which I mean, she took it great.
Yeah. She didn't really seem to care, which is weird because I thought she was supposed to be kind of Richard Lewis neurotic, but she did manage to temper that, I suppose.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like some of these relationships. We already talked about Kevin Pollak and Naomi Campbell. Mia Farrow to me, she's always been gorgeous. I don't understand what she would see in Paul Mazursky. I've seen younger pictures of Paul Mazursky. These two, again, it's like everybody marrying Kevin James. Like that's a real thing that happens.
Paul Mazursky was very funny back in the day.
Okay, but I don't understand.
She also didn't see a couple of his early 70s movies that were very good. I'm sure. I'm just saying. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does in this movie. What's his job? What did he have? He had I know everybody's in this movie is really wealthy for some reason.
He watches Sports Center at one point. Can you get paid to watch Sports Center?
Which, by the way, he had no idea what time it was when he said that.
No.
But then again, I guess in the 90s, Sports Center would start at 10 and end at 3 a.m. So I guess maybe that could work.
There's something very weird about time in this film, I noticed. You know? I mean, even later on, they're mentioning it's 10:30. How can you be creative at 10:30 at night? I'm like, okay, are you kidding? Because some of the best writers would stay up all night writing some of the best work.
Yeah, but she's also writing a marketing campaign.
Well, still. I mean, it could be oh, that's right. They told her to dial back her creativity.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Which she's being snarky about that to him, and he has no idea she had that conversation.
That's true. We did, because we got to see it.
We knew that, and we're kind of in on the joke.
Yeah.
He has no idea.
We actually looked at each other and go, but
call back.
He wouldn't get it because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
No.
Then did this movie care? No.
No. I mean, does it? It doesn't have to, I suppose.
But I think that happens a lot too in this movie, where people are because again he's doing this cut thing where he's having dialogue from one scene, in voiceover lead into the next scene and become dialogue in that scene.
Yeah,
and I wonder how often he did. Now I kind of want to watch again and did he do that a lot, where he was having people remember conversations they weren't part of, or just as everyone just constantly confused, were you having this conversation with me, or
is it? Do you know? You know what? Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Look, let's get back to me.
Yeah,
it's the Mulaney principle. I'm just sitting here I'm standing here having a conversation with you. I'm just waiting for my part so when I can talk, and then when you stop talking, I get to talk, and that's what the important.
It's not give and take. It's take.
Would be in a conversation with these characters.
Oh my God. It's so none of these people's needs are being met at all. And again, it's just a film about whining.
Oh.
In Miami. That's it.
So much whining.
So much whining.
So much whining in this movie.
I could make a better movie about whining, but it would literally be me just actually whining for 45, 60 minutes. It'd be really good, actually.
So, oh my God. So there's this, I got to complain about something from the wedding part of the movie. So, Sarah Jessica Parker, her dad is Paul Mazursky, and they go off to have a conversation alone. And he confesses to his daughter that he thinks his wife, her mother, is having an affair. And he's pretty sure of it. He's not sure, but he's pretty sure that she's having an affair. And David Frankel needs to apologize. I hope he apologized to Sarah Jessica Parker for this scene. It is not kind what he does to her in this scene. She looks like she's on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, you actually think it's oh God, somebody did a really good Sarah Jessica Parker in this.
I mean, it is a burlesque of what she really looks like.
Just the one scene, she's fine, and it's just the
her
one
hair looks like
scene.
I'm telling you, she didn't. I don't know. Maybe she changed her hair, and they shot this scene later, and they had to give her a wig. But it looks so much like a wig that it crosses the uncanny valley of wigdom. You know. Well,
not to mention there were really, really big eyelashes on there too. So yeah.
But the lighting is bad. They gave her this terrible angle that she's standing at. She's a very. I've had a crush on her for years.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of those people who goes, "Oh, she's got a horse face." I've never felt like that. That stupid Family Guy joke. I've always found her to be a very attractive woman.
Right.
But this this angle, though, would not, I don't think anyone could have sustained whatever angle it was he's shooting her.
No, it was weird.
The lighting is terrible.
It didn't look like her at all.
And maybe if you're going for a grounded reality, I understand that. But this is a kind of a fleet-footed romantic comedy.
Right.
So that we're not going for dramatic realism here. Why are you making your main actress look this bad? How do you make a woman this attractive look that bad?
Well, okay, and then not to mention, so Patricia Field,
yeah,
who did all the outfits for Sex and the City, is doing all of the outfits. And again, this you can really see in her fashion in this movie. This is again maybe a year and a half before they start working on Sex and the City.
It's proto Carrie.
It's very proto Carrie, like the whole look. What was irritating to me was that she's at this wedding, she's wearing this dress, and there is a very noticeable string hanging off the back of this dress. It's not supposed to be there. By looking at it, it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, somebody who was really fastidious would just pluck that thing.
Yeah, and stop, just cut for a second, cut the string so it doesn't bother me for the rest of that scene. That little thing just pissed me off.
There's a little bit, again, we go back to the ADR. There was a little bit of a sloppiness there. Then there's a scene later on where she goes to visit her grandmother and Antonio Banderas is taking care of the women at the nursing home and they're having a big dance.
Yeah.
And they're all dancing to his music, his Cuban music. And then the music stops while they're having a conversation. And in the background, the music is completely stopped, and we've heard the music come to an end. But apparently, they didn't tell this old lady at a table who is immediately behind the scene that the music is off because she's sitting there still watching the dancers and still dancing in her chair. And it's like, is that supposed to be funny because she's got Alzheimer's and she doesn't realize what's happening around her?
Or they didn't tell her, hey, we're probably not going to have music in the background.
Or they just didn't bother to reshoot it when they decided we're not going to keep the music going during this. Why not just keep the music going? Cover that up. Why are you making your actor look like a fool?
Well, again, she was a bit player. I know there's no small parts, just small actors, but I mean, she looked like she was genuinely having fun listening to the song in her own head or whatever.
It's so distracting.
It is because you're staring at her the entire time.
Clearly, they must have gotten rid of the music so we would pay attention to the conversation that they're having, in which she's about to go off to Orlando with him, fly him along with her for no good reason to go on this job interview she's going to.
That's where we learned that he doesn't like planes. No one cares. Why were we establishing that? That doesn't make any sense. We
established his fear of flying.
Yeah, great.
For reasons.
Oh, thank you. I was really concerned about his character. But this movie doesn't give it, here's the thing. You know how I feel about Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
I fucking think he's gorgeous. Well, this film is so misleading in so many ways, too, because the cover art makes you think that it's going to be a romantic comedy about her and Antonio, which it's so not.
No.
It literally is so not.
They hardly see each other.
And then there's that. And then in this, they try to throw, almost tack on a relationship at the end with them. It's weird.
It's weird. And it gets, the premise of the whole thing is that he's sleeping with her mother, Mia Farrow.
Right.
That's how they, they've met before. They have an existing relationship because he's the nurse for her grandmother. So they've got a bantery friendship that, he was even well aware of Gil Bellows. They apparently had an entire conversation while she took grandma off to go to the bathroom one time. So, and yet that didn't slow him down, did it? Not even one bit, in pursuing her while she's still in a relationship. But then he's also sleeping with her married mother. So I guess... What are we supposed to think of this character?
I don't know.
But he's really charming and good looking, so who cares?
Not lies. And actually, what bums me out is if you would have made a romantic comedy for Sarah Jessica Parker and Antonio Banderas at this point, they had enough. It could have worked.
Well, here's the thing: if you're going to make your characters hypocrites and whiners, be critical of them being hypocrites and whiners. Then that's the point of the movie, is that you're critiquing their behavior. There's no critique happening here.
No.
There's nothing here that anyone here is actually doing wrong. And maybe if that's your, I'm not a particularly big on morals anyway. I think marriage is kind of a silly idea.
We don't have morals on this podcast. I'm sorry.
if you want to go have sex with someone, go have sex with them. I don't care. Not my business.
You have to call me about it. I just go do what you're going to do.
And don't feel like you need to worry about my judging you.
Because I am. I'm sorry. I'm talking for you. I'm talking for myself. I am judging you. Sean's not.
I guess I'm being judgmental, but
go off and do you.
I'm being judgmental of the choices that you made in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah. None of my business. I don't need the newsletter.
Yeah.
Harry, don't update me. I don't give a shit. Go do it.
But you've got to what's the point if you're just presenting this and it's like, is it just for us to go, these people suck?
Yeah. Because we were going to do that anyway. Is the thing.
I don't understand what was the point of all this.
And what was so rhapsodic about it?
There was no rhapsody whatsoever.
There was no rhapsody whatsoever.
I still don't know what a rhapsody is. That feels like a concept that was born or was dying as I was being born, like a rhapsody.
Rhapsody.
I know it's music. I'm being obtuse for a joke.
Well, okay, but what if we just say rhapsody, in not in music? What is a rhapsody? Just in.
What is the
life?
concept of a rhapsody? Not Rhapsody Kids. That's a whole different thing.
I think it's. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but the very idea, impassioned. Well, we do. You know what? We do talk a lot about passion in this. They very passionate. Has something to do with that impassioned speech or sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
It's people. They when they say things, they really mean it.
Right.
Which
when somebody speaks passionately about something, they'll say they're rhapsodizing.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think.
They would have in the 1940s.
That's true. But I mean,
people don't tend to use this word rhapsody or rhapsody. Now, intelligent people do. Don't get me wrong.
Right. I mean, if you listen to our podcast,
we've used rhapsody multiple times.
I think,
not just because it's the title of the movie.
I think I've rhapsodized many times when it comes to Gary Oldman and a grill and a greasy hair. God, he's hot in that movie. Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman Rhapsody. I'm going to write that movie. And then he shows up in the end of it, and he's just like, "Hey, Amy, I heard that you really like this character I played, where I looked really grotesque to everybody but you. I just want to say thanks." And he gives me a hug, kisses my forehead gently, and gets on a plane and leaves. Because that's the way I like my men.
I don't think that character would be particularly that gentle, just based off of what we know about him.
No, he would be Gary Oldman, appreciative of me enjoying that character. It wouldn't be that particular character from True Romance. It wouldn't be that.
What if he showed up here as his Tiptoes character?
Short King. I'd be like, that's right. Yes, you do. I mean, sure, you're offensive to many, many people, but I still think it's funny.
Oh, God.
And I still love you, Gary Oldman. I still love you.
So the whole movie is just kind of she's had all these foundational relationships around her. Her sister's brand new marriage falls apart immediately. Carla Gugino marries Bo Eason. He's a football player, but he doesn't make a lot of money. And he's very aware that his career could end at any moment. And so he's very concerned about money. His only trait that he's assigned is that apparently he likes Dr. Seuss. He's a football player and he's obsessed with money. Do you know how much those nuts cost? Do you know how much that costs? You can't open the minibar. You know how much that's going to cost? Do you know what the cost of that is? Everything. I can't believe when we bought our clothes, we can't afford that.
Yeah, she bought a $10 negligee, and he's like, "Can you take it back?" While she's wearing it and looking fabulous in it. I'd be like,
no wonder she left you for a dentist.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Jeremy Piven.
They like crotchless lingerie.
Dentists love.
When asked, dentists will rhapsodize about crotchless lingerie.
Yes,
it's a fact.
Yeah,
I'll have to.
They advise against the edible panties.
Well,
not good for your
not good for your teeth.
Too much sugar and bodily fluids.
Is that true? Too much sugar?
I don't know. I think it's 4 out of 5 dentists agree that edible panties are not good.
5. I would say 9 out of 10. But I'm going to push it.
4 out of 5 doctors smoke Cools.
Oh my God. Because it makes your mouth taste minty. Just like a fresh brushing. But not for your lungs.
That's a real commercial, kids.
Oh my God.
That actually happened.
Dentists love the cool taste of Cool cigarettes. Try them today.
Lung doctors agree.
Oh my God.
3 cigarettes a day is fine.
It's fine. Especially if you're just trying to look cool around your friends. Or if you want that husky voice of every woman named Amber over 55.
I want to be Joan Crawford.
That's what I'm going for, at least. I'm trying to work my way up to Suzanne Plachette. But again, a lot of our listeners probably won't get that reference.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Brenda Vaccaro, kids, come on.
Supergirl, yeah.
See, there it is. I mean, come on.
She was Faye Dunaway's wife.
That's right. Well, wife. Now, I wish. Now, that would be a whole different movie.
They lived together in an amusement park.
They're partners.
Gal pals.
Gal pals. With a Z. Gal pals.
Oh, that's like ContraPoints reference.
Is it? I love ContraPoints.
Oh, I love ContraPoints.
So good.
You know, in the midst of all of the horrors happening in this day and age,
the atrocities
at
in
the
America,
very least, a trans woman is nominated for an Academy Award,
which is as it should
as
be,
Best Actress.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Well done.
That's what we're saying.
We're going to pat you on the head, Hollywood.
Oh.
And then we're going to tell you that this should have been a different trans actor.
That's true.
Yeah. Amelia Paris probably isn't a good movie.
Oh my God, Katya from my favorite duo, Katya and Trixie and Katya. Katya hated Amelia Perez so much. And I'm like, is it just that one song that bothers everybody? Because
maybe
that song's not good. It's not good.
No. I praised it on the regular show because when Jeff and I talked about it, I had a lot to say. But I was talking to a trans critic, an actual trans critic on Blue Sky,
right? And
they shared their review, and I was reading it and like, oh my God, and I was just kind of embarrassed because is it possible that in just me trying so desperately to be an ally to trans people that I just put aside kind of the issues with this movie? I think that's kind of what I did. I kind of put aside, like, because a lot of trans critics really hate this movie. And now that I'm actually listening to them, which I should have done before the movie. Not that I ever didn't listen to them about a non-trans movie, but we're talking about a specifically trans movie. I should have sought out those critics and their voices first.
Yeah, I'm sure. But you're also, as a critic, critiquing things with your own brain. And,
but I've got a lot to learn about trans people.
Well, I mean, that's true for everyone. But the truth is, you're still allowed to have your own thoughts about it. You know what I mean? Like, I watched it, but like, I mean, that one particular song made me it just made me feel icky. But like, again, you're looking at all these performances. I loved everybody. I don't know. I didn't hate it. So
I can sense myself kind of having issues with it, but just wanting to kind of be over those issues so I could support the big trans movie.
Well, I think you still
I didn't have that issue when I was watching I Saw the TV Glow or The People's Joker. I didn't think about that at all. I didn't think about representation. I was just having a great time. And those two movies, I have no question that they're incredible.
Right.
And I didn't even ask anybody about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one was in the back of my head as I watched it, thinking I'm enjoying it. It was in the back of my head, like, do I though? And then when I actually sat down and read some trans critics, they kind of explained what was wrong. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. I see what you're saying. I know. It's good to listen. It's good to learn.
Yeah. I just didn't like that song. It was a weird song.
Yeah.
But, what we didn't watch this week? Amelia Perez. What we did watch was Miami Rhapsody.
Oh, was that the movie?
That was the movie. And
90 minutes of people whining.
Just whining.
And just nobody has enough sex, or they're having too much sex, or they're not getting enough sex. And
I want to go ahead and be the first to thank this movie for not giving me really graphic sex scenes because there's not. I mean, aside from, I mean, I would have liked a little Antonio. I would have, but it didn't get all like. I didn't have to watch Kevin Pollak fucking Naomi.
God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to see that.
I'm pretty sure Naomi wasn't filming that scene.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
She had to kiss him once, and I think that was pretty much all that needed to happen with that.
God, I just felt like, he must have slipped her like a 50. Here, just let me do this for the movie. It's not in the script. I'm not supposed to kiss you in the script, but let me just do this real quick. Okay? And that's weird.
Again, there are a lot of very out of their league men who can be very funny
Yeah.
and get very attractive women.
That's true.
Or they can be super talented musicians, like Billy Joel being 5'4" and dating Christy Brinkley. That just did not compute in any way to
No.
most people. But he's incredibly talented, and at the time, one of the music writers of our time. Like, I get it. Like, I can see where that happens, but I can't. Just Naomi Campbell.
Is Naomi Campbell.
She's Naomi Campbell, and he's Kevin Pollak. I'm sorry, no.
Never the twain shall
Not-
meet. That's just it.
It's like an alligator and a marmoset dating. Like, no.
Aw.
No, that's not going to work.
No, I'm just saying it's in
Different
marmoset.
species.
They don't belong together.
It broke the immersion of the movie.
I was really into the film until that.
Had it been Paul Reiser, maybe.
Maybe no.
No.
Paul Rudd, yeah. But Paul Rudd wouldn't do this movie.
Oh.
But
It's not as bad as that, though. Like, it's not as bad as, like, House Guest. Like, House Guest is trash,
yeah.
And I mean, there's so many movies in 1994 that I would have loved to have traded with this movie. Like, I don't like this movie, but there are elements to, like, Sarah Jessica Parker, some of her offhand jokes are pretty good.
Yeah.
She makes some offhand observations that are very smart.
No, again, they're very Carrie. Because I mean, she was very whip smart on the show. Like I buy that she had something to do. Didn't she? Was she an executive producer? Didn't she have like more of a kind of role with this film aside from just being the star?
This was her first feature film.
Oh,
so yeah, no,
Sarah's?
Yeah, well, she was an LA story, but I mean, her first starring role. Her first big star.
Oh, wow.
She'd been in like supporting roles previous, because like all the way back to Footloose, but like her first big starring role is this, I believe.
That's great.
And she's handling it very well,
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why she led a show, a very wildly successful show, because she has the chops to do it.
A show that stayed around far too long.
Far too long.
Far too long.
The movies didn't have to happen, guys. We didn't ask for it.
Didn't need that.
No, the show ended so perfectly. I will never forget watching that with Rick. And it's like, okay, that's exactly how it should end. That's it. New era. Move on. And then you just had to keep slapping me with your movies in the face. I didn't ask for them.
Right.
But then, you know what? I know it's not all about me. But I feel like all these people who are like, well, I asked for them. Well, then why couldn't they just like mail the movie to just you? So I never had to hear about it and let it sully the good name.
The first movie
what that show was.
It was unwatchable. The second one is a crime against nature.
There's so much of it that is just like, who said yes to this?
Oh God, it's just miserable.
Well, miserable is picking it back up and, let's not do that. Don't do that. There was a reason, it's like, oh, of course, I would love to see where are they now? I would like the actors to tell me where they think their characters went. I don't need to see it. Yeah. I don't need to see it. Just tell me. I don't have a whole lot of time.
You know what makes life special? Death.
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate life a lot more when you're going to die. And when you don't die, when there's no possibility of death, it becomes less special. I'm speaking specifically of you, Sex and the City. If you died when you were supposed to, you wouldn't have lived long enough to become the villain. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, and they did live long enough to be the villain. That's true.
Still are.
No, we didn't deserve that.
No.
It's none of our business.
This movie is frustrating in that there would be something good happening and then something, and just a lot of terrible things. Like, this movie, does it hate marriage or does it like marriage? Is it for marriage? Is it against marriage? It doesn't have to be any one of those things, but at the same time, it's just throwing so many things at you.
Right.
That is just, it's unbearable at times because it's not really investigating any one of these particular concepts.
No.
Like Kevin Pollak is starts
Annoying.
cheating on his wife Terry, who's pregnant. His pregnant wife. Terry.
They even have an infant already, and then she's pregnant again. So,
Yeah, and so he's cheating on his pregnant wife with Naomi Campbell, who is the wife of his business partner.
It's just bad business.
Who then apparently at some point in the movie attempted to kill them by
with a gun.
shooting at them,
Right.
which happens off screen, which is something that happens again. And it's another one of these little nitpicky bullshit things. But like we're watching the movie and they're at the sister, Carla Gugino's wedding, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they didn't show the second one. Her first marriage. We're there in the afterwards, and she comes running up to Sarah Jessica Parker and says, "Wow, your toast was so amazing." We didn't see that.
Nope.
We have no concept of this. We barely know who you are.
It reminds me of Drew saying, like Drew watching one of those Hallmark movies and then them saying, like, it's like, oh, this looks like, they're looking at the outside of the Christmas house and they're like, looks so beautiful. And he goes, yeah, could we see it? That's what that reminded me of, was right there. It's like, yeah, well, we didn't know.
Like, we can't possibly write a scene where you say something funny and interesting and like, get the whole crowd behind you as you're, talking about the
kind of establishing just how funny you are.
Yeah.
And
we can't see the toast.
Yeah.
It's like that One Direction song. The greatest song of all time is not actually the greatest song of all time. It's about the greatest
song of all time. So confusing to so many people. Tell me why.
Everybody thinks One Direction is being all arrogant, like they're singing the greatest song of all time. It's about the greatest song of all time.
Dumb
and
fucking idiots.
Thank you to Jenny Nicholson for that reference, because I never listened to that song before. She just used it as an example, which was very funny.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I'm a Harry Styles fan, so you can't go wrong. I don't like One Direction, but I like that.
I think that was in her Greatest Showman review where they call it where they have a song called "This Is the Greatest Show," but we never see it.
Can we see it?
No,
we're
going to sing about "This Is the Greatest Show." You're never going to see that it's the greatest show.
Oh, shit.
Which I'm sorry, but like Jenny Nicholson, one of the best film critics alive. She's an absolute genius. She doesn't do a lot of film criticism, but when she does,
she eviscerates.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she's got it down. I mean, her takedown on that Disney movie where the guy like filmed a movie secretly at Disney, Escape to Tomorrow or something.
Oh.
It's honestly one of the greatest pieces of film criticism I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
She has that movie cold. She calls out everything. She's got notes. She's got observations. She's watched the director do interviews and say the same bullshit over and over again. And I'm pretty sure she ended that man's career. I am not,
single-handedly
that
ended
man
that
has
man's
not
career.
Worked since in Hollywood. Check his IMDb. He has not worked since in Hollywood.
That is fascinating.
And I mean, the job that she does on him in that review.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, watch her Escape from Tomorrow. Watch Jenny Nicholson's review of anything. It's fucking great. I've been doing film criticism on the radio for 24 years, and I honestly don't have any thought that I've done something that good.
Wow.
I'm proud of the stuff I've written. I've written a lot of really good stuff. I've never done anything that's that good.
Wow. And she's just sitting in her room with her little stuffed animals on her bed. Like, that's wild to me.
Well, she puts in the work, She only does like 2 videos a year now because she's putting in the work.
God. Why can't we do that and get paid?
we gotta be on a weekly grind,
Oh my God, you're right.
So everybody starts, We've only been at this 3 years.
Yeah, I've
only been at this for 12 years on a podcast. It's fine.
I don't want to work at it though. It's work, Who has time for that?
God, this movie.
Yeah.
The again, and it ends properly, But like, did these people have a conversation before they got into this relationship? Because at a certain point, we get to a point in the third act where Gil Bellows to this point has been kind of a non-event. Like he's kind of been a placeholder. He's very handsome,
It's
kind of
funny.
a little bit bland.
I called it a placeholder. Yeah.
And he's not really given us much other than he loves her and he wants to get married and they live together.
Right.
And they've been together for 2 years. But then suddenly, one morning she wakes up and she's got a phone call about this script that she wrote for a sitcom.
Right.
Might want to hire her. Apparently they make sitcoms in Miami sometimes or Orlando sometimes. I guess
Okay.
maybe she's going to work for Disney. Who knows?
Who knows? We because they don't tell us.
But meanwhile, while she's doing this, he's woken her up for her to get this phone call. So this is the first thing in the morning.
Right.
She takes the call. She gets this great news. She goes to talk to him about it. He has already packed everything.
Mm-hmm.
We are not prepared for this moment in any way.
Yeah.
Other than, they've kind of had like disagreements and she did go out with Antonio Banderas, but we have no information to tell us that he knows that
No.
or what she's been doing with him up to that point.
Again, up until this point, I was saying he should have left her a long time
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
She
Because
was
she's
annoying.
constantly going on about
Right.
how she doesn't think marriage is a good idea, but
Right.
yeah, I guess I'll marry you, whatever.
No, let's get married. I know you want to. Like that sounds awful. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
That placation ring.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Fine. Let's just get married, whatever. But but he seems like okay with that. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to he seems to take all of this stuff in stride and tries to be reassuring to her. And he's they're not making him out to be a terrible human being or even anybody who has his own thoughts
Yeah.
about this at all until this moment when she goes to tell him about this great news she got about her script for a sitcom, and he's packed and is leaving for Africa.
For Africa. I mean, that's a big move, is it not?
Well, how long has he been going through this interview process to get this
Right.
job that's going to take him away to Africa for 2 years that he's never spoken to her about before this moment that he's decided to take it and go?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't even mention. He's like, oh, I have a job interview in New York. I got to go. It's like, were you gonna send me an email?
I was kind of hoping that phone call wouldn't wake you up. Oh, wait,
Like, what
no,
the fuck?
You're the one who woke her up, dude.
You too.
You woke her up to take the call.
Yeah, like yeah.
Then you
I think
got
we
all
should take
indignant.
This one.
Then you got all indignant about it.
Well, but like,
I thought that, man, what if, okay, this could very well be kind of an explainer for that, maybe. Like, maybe in another, like in a previous take, like maybe they cut in a previous take, like where the call had come from Antonio Banderas, which then would make sense why he's so angry.
okay,
That would make sense. Like, he's all pissed off because Antonio Banderas is called the night after, or the morning after their sort of date thing that they did.
all right.
And like he has to answer that call, and Antonio Banderas is like, why is this guy fucking calling at this time? And then he listens to their conversation because he's got on the other end of the phone,
Yeah.
in the other room.
I thought you were right. I thought that's exactly.
And like,
where that was gonna
okay,
go.
so he's overhearing her having a conversation with Antonio Banderas, and that's what he's upset about.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. So what if they cut in this whole new idea? Like this was another idea that they had to send her to Orlando for this sitcom thing. And they cut that into this other scene, and he's still bringing the energy from the other scene where it was Antonio Banderas on the phone. That would be the only thing that makes this scene make sense.
100%. Because as it is, it doesn't.
No,
I mean,
it's like he's just angry out of nowhere.
It's hot to cold, but like it's so weird because again, I get it. Like to me, I feel like it led up to like he should have dumped her ass mid movie.
This energy should have been there a long time
A
ago,
long
and it's
time
never
ago.
been present until now.
He is such a good guy in this movie. Like he deserves so much better. He's supportive. When she goes off on her weird tirades, he's there for her. If she, when she even complains about getting married and stuff like that, he's like, that's fine. But I think you're being manipulated by the idea of it. Like, and he's so level-headed. He's the only normal person in this movie. Like the only person that doesn't have a weird motivation. He's just a cool guy,
Until this moment, and then he's just he turns into literally everybody else in the movie.
But let's not forget though, too, it's like that one scene. Like he was supposed to go to this art gallery opening with Sarah Jessica Parker's character. And she didn't want to go because she had dated the guy that was the artist. And this artist, like, he's a total chode. Like, and he Donald Log, who I love so much, plays him.
Mhm.
again, he did a lot of these movies back then. It's just like, you're so talented and amazing. Why were you in movies like this all the time? It just makes me upset. But then all of a sudden, like, he, in a year or two, has turned a leaf, found a woman that he's in love with, and it knocked her up, and they're married now. And everything. Like, but yet he's supposed to be good friends with Gil Bellows and them, but didn't call to say, hey, we got married.
Or come to my wedding.
Or be my God. My son's God,
something,
dad, or whatever the fuck you call those things. Like,
apparently they weren't that close.
They couldn't have been that close. But you could tell, like, the look on his face, like, that's what pissed him off. Like, that was like, oh, sure. Okay, so no, Derek's life is like this. This is the life I was supposed to have with Derek's ex-girlfriend. Now I don't get it. So, like, to me, that almost prepared me for that breakup scene. Maybe just a little bit more. But I mean, not enough to be like, oh, that's the natural progression of the scene.
Because the movie, maybe it's trying to be too subtle. I don't know. Because they did not, there's nothing in that scene other than Donald Logue overacting about his mute wife who has nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
Whatsoever.
Right.
She's not paid for lines.
She smiles a lot.
Smiles a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't pick up anything from that. I'm like, why are we even here?
Right.
Like,
right.
It's just like so many scenes in this movie. It's just like, okay, but why are we here? What are we getting out of this? Like, I'm not saying
what do you want us to get out of this.
Every scene should move something forward, should give us some piece of information, unless you're making like a weird art movie where the moment is just like it's a vibe that you're trying to go for, then I get it.
Yeah.
Not every movie has to have, the expected structure. I'm not calling for that, but like things should happen that make sense for your movie. And this is not like an experimental art film where people's motivations are just kind of made up in the moment.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, I'll just say it. The best thing about this movie was that it's free on Amazon Prime. Again, Sarah Jessica Parker. This was a good vehicle.
She was doing something, you know. She kept.
It's a shame that we had to have so many other people in this movie.
She kept getting interrupted when she was like, "What if this has just been her talking for like 90 minutes?"
I mean, again, that got annoying. But for me, if you just would have made this a very strict rom-com comedy, like the way that the poster for the film looks, she's dating the guy that her mom is having an affair with. Like, that kind of would have been like a funny little story.
Yeah.
I didn't need everybody else's stories. I don't care about her family at all. They're all annoying. They all whine. Just cut it down to just Sarah Jessica Parker, Antonio Banderas, and Mia Farrow. Interesting story. I probably would have liked that a lot better.
Yeah. I want everybody for a moment just to pause. And I want you to think, okay, you're Antonio Banderas. And you're kind of having a flirtatious banter with him. Mm-hmm. But then you also know that he has banged your mom.
So mean.
And your mom has talked to you, as she did in this movie, about having the greatest sex of her life with Antonio Banderas. And now Antonio Banderas is alone with you in a hotel room.
See,
and you want to go put in your diaphragm. And she's like, well, I don't know where you've been. And she goes, I was in your mom. Actual dialogue from this movie.
But it also hurt because I'm like kind of off. I'm like in my own suspense of disbelief, and you're like, but what if? Okay, but it's Antonio, but he's fucking your mom, and I'm thinking, okay, that's our mom. 1, 2. Then I made the mistake of asking him, do I know about it? Because if I didn't know that Antonio Banderas was stuffing my mom, I'd probably still do him.
If the movie had been about this question, and the discomfort in this question, I think there's more of a movie in just that idea than there is in this entire movie that we watched.
Just make it that story.
A woman trying to come to terms with dating a man who had banged her mom to the best sex of her life.
Oh my God. You know what? I could make you sadder. But not in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe her doing a film like this back then really, really kind of pushed her on to make something like The Family Stone later on.
Oh. Ugh.
I know you love that movie so much.
It has been a while since she's made a good movie. My God.
Yeah, what was the last movie she made that was good?
I don't know. It's like she's made a lot of crap.
Yeah, like
Yeah, both of the Sex and the City movies are just unwatchable.
is
The
it
second one is again a war crime.
it is a war crime. Meet the Morgans, is that one of them?
We need
Is
to
it her
talk
and
about
Hugh Grant?
We need to talk about.
That's
It's not good.
something like that. Which is a bummer
But
because like
mostly supremely mediocre more than anything.
yeah,
But like not good.
Family Stone obviously.
Just one of the worst movies.
One of the
ever made.
worst movies of all time.
Hate that fucking movie.
Mom loved that movie.
Of course she did.
Of course she did. Wah, wah.
She never watched a movie she didn't like.
That's true. But she never watched a movie that she didn't ask us, did I see that?
Ah,
Did I like it? Every time.
every time.
Every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God, I cannot think of the last time I enjoyed a movie that she was in.
I don't know if there ever was one. I mean, I liked Footloose okay, but she was barely in it.
Yeah.
So
Like LA Story is just unfunny to me because I'm not from
I
LA.
did like LA Story though. I
Ugh.
kind of liked that.
Oh my God, that awful Matthew McConaughey movie, Failure to Launch.
Oh no!
What a piece.
Was that was those two?
Oh yeah,
Why did I
Sarah
think that
Jessica
was
Parker and that was Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew McConaughey in Failure to Launch.
Oh God!
Was that does she like runs a business where she helps boys get out of their parents' houses or something?
That's right.
Oh my God! Like you have to see Terry Bradshaw's ass in that movie.
I didn't ask for that.
No one asked for that. It's
Wow.
not funny, guys. It's just not funny. And yeah, that movie is just like he really wants to live at home with his parents because he's lazy and he just wants to surf all day
Yeah.
and not do anything. And like the challenge is like she gets hired by his parents to get him out of their house. She's like turned boys into men, I guess, but he's like 40. So it's like it doesn't make any sense.
His name's Trick.
It's Trip.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Trick.
And of course, Patton Oswalt's in there because he's got to be like a joke about a guy who likes Star Wars who won't get out of his parents'
Oh.
basement.
Yep. Of course we need that one.
Like that's the low point of your career, Patton. I'm sorry, that is the low point of your career. buddy.
Wow. Justin Bartha, Bradley
He did-
Cooper, Zoe Deschanel. Like wow.
You can tell that Patton punched up his scene a little bit. Like but he's basically playing his Parks and Rec character,
Which is okay. I'm fine with that.
I could watch outtakes of that
I would
character for
too.
days.
100% I would too. Jesus. Rob Corddry, Stephen Tobolowsky, Ned Ryerson. Taub from House was in that movie. Like, okay. There's a lot of people in that movie. And it still doesn't make it look any better.
No, it's still
Like, at all.
terrible.
Oh, wow.
Still not good.
23% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Still says a lot.
That does say a lot. It certainly does.
Yeah. And this movie was what on Rotten Tomatoes?
And it was actually, I just looked this up, 45%.
That sounds the thing is like it sounds right today. At the time, this movie seems to have actually been really well liked.
Which is weird.
Because like Owen Gleiberman reviewed it at the time, and Ebert obviously reviewed it at the time, and and I was like looking through newspaper.com reviews, and there were a lot of critics giving it like everybody was going, "This is a 3-star movie, 3-star movie, 3-star movie."
Out of 5.
I can see some of it because
I
they
think
don't
it's
they don't
horror.
have 30 years further perspective to kind of go like this is kind of insufferable.
Right. Like we do.
We've got
We have that
30 years
luxury.
to realize just how toxic all of this is.
Like I was saying, one of the reasons why this movie really kind of stuck out to me was because when this film came out, she did Saturday Night Live. She was hosting Saturday Night Live, which REM had just put out Monster, and they did not 1, not 2, but 3 musical performances that night. And she was schlepping this film. That's why it stayed in my head so much. I can still remember her talking about the movie and all the interviews, and then her doing SNL and talking about the movie again. And I'm just like, I only tuned in that night to watch 3 musical performances from REM. I didn't give a shit about what she was doing, but that's why this movie stays in my head because of that alone.
if you're like, if it comes off to anyone listening, like I seem like superior or something, or like I'm better
He is.
than other people, or especially other men, like it's not that. It's just I've been to therapy. It took many therapy sessions to get to this point where I could recognize toxic behavior, because I was toxic.
Yeah. Well,
I was a toxic person for a while.
I did not realize that.
Oh yeah. No, I was trying to force my version of reality onto other people, and try and get people to do things that they didn't necessarily want. Not like force people. Like, I want the relationship to be my way, and that's the only way it can be. And
okay.
they're like, I'm a whole other person who has their own life and my own ideas of what. And I had to go to therapy to go, there's a give and take that you have to have with another person. They get to be a person too. It's not just you.
So you thought we were all NPCs?
Basically,
Like, we don't move if you don't
I had
see
pretty
us?
severe main character syndrome, but it was all entirely in my head.
Yeah.
They were like, I couldn't
You
control
never
anything.
came off like that.
Oh no, it was in my head. Like, I'm trying to, and then when I would script conversations in my head, well, because you didn't see, you're my sister. I've known you for like, you never saw that.
Okay.
But like other people would probably notice that they were like, oh, he's so quiet. It's because I've planned every conversation in my head. And then when the conversation didn't go exactly as it was in my head, I don't know what to do.
Oh God. And then
Like,
well, that's
it
where your
didn't-
autism comes in too, because then you're just like, oh shit, now what?
You guys
I
didn't
gotta go.
You guys didn't follow the script. I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna
sit here.
leave.
I don't know what to tell you.
I can't do this. That's so crazy.
I've not been diagnosed autistic, just so you know.
But you are.
Oh wow.
I'm just, hey, you know what? If kids can self-diagnose, I can diagnose my brother. I'm sorry. There it is. It is.
Yeah, that was my life for many years.
Man.
But I was like one of those. I could have been an incel.
Mhm.
Like I could have been. I was on that incel edge for a while. When in my 20s.
It could have happened.
Yeah.
But we pulled you back from the ledge. Yeah.
I had a lot to learn. I up until 30, I was not that great a person.
I have to wonder if anyone was, though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and I was the opposite of you, where I didn't script things out in my head. I didn't want to say anything to anyone, so I wouldn't piss them off, so they wouldn't be my friend anymore. So I was too afraid to have my own opinions about anything, and would just rely on other people to tell me how I think, to tell me how I feel. And then with that,
That sounds just like being a woman in the 90s.
oh my God. So you're just a woman. Is that what you're saying? So
I
being
think
a
every
woman
woman was just kind of nodding, going, yeah. Any woman over 30, like, oh my God.
Well, but see, I feel like I was doing that with even my closest women friends, though,
Yeah.
too. And that I became so distrustful of everyone, including family. And then, I mean, I'm now this brilliant, well-adjusted person that I am. That you hear every week on this podcast. Not sad, depressed, or cynical. Rarely hungover. You're welcome. God damn. That got dirty.
Amy's got to go to therapy now.
You know what? If I can afford it, but this is America, and America hates women who are well-adjusted and smart.
We've not reached the threshold to get a BetterHelp. Was it sponsor?
Is BetterHelp really better? I was hearing some stories.
Oh, really?
Being so much better. But you know, I just talk to myself with a British accent in my car. That's my therapy, and I sound amazing.
Her name is Carol.
It's not Carol. Obviously, it's Gemma. Obviously, it's Gemma. And my boyfriend's Nigel.
Does Gemma give good advice?
No. She's neurotic and she loves a pint with her friends. She wanted to be Bridget Jones for so long, but it just didn't work out.
She's AI created by absolutely fabulous episodes.
God, yes. Jennifer Saunders would love. She loved the tragic comedy that is.
You know, it just occurred to me, in a dystopian society, that's the future.
Yeah.
Like you create your, like you just find a show that you really love and then you feed it into AI and that becomes your best friend because you know everything about them.
Oh, that's so. I'm scared because, like,
take every season of Friends and put it into AI and have it
Oh.
create a human being that is the result of that.
take Paul Rudd and Robbie Sheehan and make one person.
Oh, God.
They both have like greenish eyes, though. They better have Robbie's hair. Robbie's hair. But Paul's dancing.
That just makes me think of there's a Star Trek episode where they refer to a transporter accident where two people were transported at the same time, and what came back should not have come back.
You're an abomination. That's what my mom said when I was born. Get back in there. You're an abomination.
Oh my God. Your Paul Rudd, Robert Sheehan combination comes back like Tuvok.
No. Can I have one good thing in my life? I'm not asking for anything. Just one positive, even just a thought. It's free. The thought is free.
He's got Paul Rudd's hair in the front, but Robert Sheen's hair in the back.
Absolutely not. He's not Joe Dirt. I got Chewy in my lap and he's getting very upset by this conversation.
Chewy, the podcast ruining dog.
Oh, adorable. Oh, pumpkin. Do we want to talk about what we got next week?
Oh, God, do I?
Well, I mean, it's not terrible if you exclude the Jerky Boys movie.
We're watching the Jerky Boys movie?
Go sit in the car.
There's a grunge list that's been recommended to me repeatedly, telling me what happened to the Jerky Boys, and I'm just so tempted to watch it.
God, I had so many friends that love the Jerky Boys, and again, we sold the shit out of those records when I was working at Disc Jockey.
We really thought that shit was funny.
I don't get it.
What?
I don't get it. No, I never thought they were funny.
Well, in fairness, those of us in the Midwest who couldn't listen to Howard Stern only had the Jerky Boys.
The Jerky Boys. Then you had those friends that quoted the Jerky Boys for like a decade after they were relevant, if they ever were relevant.
Oh,
we're absolutely not watching the Jerky Boys.
You
I
imagine going to like a 10-year reunion of people who graduated in 1995 and they're just fucking passing around Jerky Boys.
Oh, no. Oh, that's like the people who still say that's what she said.
At least people stopped saying shagadelic.
Well, I don't think they were supposed to say it in the first place. That was none of our business. Again.
What was happening? We all knew.
Oh God.
We all knew how bad it was.
Baby. Oh God. Make it stop.
But there are still people quoting Borat, though. I mean, people. If you walk into my office tomorrow and say "my wife,"
oh my God,
everyone's falling out.
Bob on Bob's Burgers once had a nightmare that he had to leave the restaurant and go get an office job. And one of the things was like they were just having an inane conversation by the water cooler. And then some guy walks in, it's like, my wife. And then they're all like, oh, Borat. And he woke up in a cold sweat. Like that was his nightmare. And I agree. It's right out of him.
People were talking about Facebook, how they don't have any fact checking anymore. And like a joke, apparently that's been going around is that Tom Cruise is a serial killer.
I believe that though. Respect the cock. He could do it. He could do it.
Like people are just lying about celebrities on Facebook now just to fuck with Mark Zuckerberg.
I love that. I love that. Guys, tomorrow start saying that Robert Sheehan asked Amy Kernan to marry him. Let's just get that going.
Let's just all on Facebook from now on refer to Tom Cruise as the suspected serial killer Tom Cruise, so he can use his Scientology powers to make Facebook fact check again.
That's true. He would sue. Oh my God. Yeah, that's fine.
This is a game changer idea.
We're starting that tonight. I haven't even been going on social media because I hate it so much right now. I fucking can't. Yeah. But like, I would do it just for that. I would totally do it just for that. I can't hold it. No. Hold on. I'm sorry, but don't be mad because it's worth it. Are we back?
Yeah. Sure. So what are you inflicting upon the world?
Well, In the Mouth of Madness is a John Carpenter film starring Sam Neill.
I would totally love to watch that.
But I'm going to say Boys on the Side.
God damn
it. No, if you want, because Boys on the Side, I remember this movie. I have not great memories, even though I love Drew very, very much. And Fuzzy might even enjoy that one, but I don't think I can sit through it. There's some parts of it that just really are upsetting to me. So, yeah, I guess In the Mouth of Madness it is.
Okay, good. Fine. Sure.
Right?
Whatever.
I'm glad you said it.
Oh,
It's over.
all right then.
Fuck off then.
Thank you.
All right.